to our Facebook Live audience, we thank God for you. Excited. And being in the house of the Lord tonight. And we know that it is a school night. So we're going to do the best we can tonight to stay within the time frame and be getting out at 8 o'clock. Because I got one that got to go to school in the morning too. Amen. All right. So we are continuing in the series Life in High Definition, but we're switching gears a little bit tonight, and we're going to start focusing in on the kingdom keys. This is a vital component of the direction that we're taking because God is really doing something in the body of Christ. And it's up to us to align ourselves with the will of God during this time, this season, to determine what level of participation we will have and what it is that God is doing and going to do. And so, let me just share with you what the Lord gave me to really, as a proclamation, prophetically, that he gave me for the body. I want to share this with us tonight. For us to know what it is that we're doing and why God is taking us in this direction as it relates to our teaching, our preaching, the assignments that God has given us, and the doors we're starting to see open, just the things we're starting to see in this time and in this season. So what the Lord said to me was, he says, I am preparing to open doors for my people for kingdom purposes only. He says, I'm preparing to open doors for my people for kingdom purposes only. So sometimes we are praying and asking God to do things for us. We're asking God to open doors and make ways for us. But we have varying reasons why we want God to do things. But God said to me, he says, I'm getting ready to open some doors for kingdom purposes only. He said, this season of opportunity is only for those who want to see God's will done in the earth above anything else. And so this is an opportunity for us to do an internal audit of ourselves, of our intentions and our motives. He says this season of opportunity is only for those who want to see God's will done in the earth above anything else. This is not for people who will seek to control the move of God. This is not for people who will seek to benefit from the move of God. This is not for people who will sow discord among the brethren. This is not for people who will attack leadership, others in the body, or the harvest that God will send. He said this is not for those people. He said the people who will thrive in this season are people who are serious about their assignment. And I know that sometimes it just becomes easy to go through the motions of what we do. We come to church, we get accustomed to just coming and having a good time, and we go home and do what we've always done. He says, but this season, those who will thrive in this season are those who are serious about their assignment. Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. And so what that means for us, how that looks in a practical sense is, whatever it is that God has called you to, do whatever you need to do to start sharpening your saw. If that means finding and reading books that pertain to what you're called to do, that's times of fasting and prayer where you're actually asking God to show you what he wants to do in your life, for God to show you how he wants you to operate in the gifts that you have. Whether it means going to conferences and literally investing in your gift during this time. And this is important, he says, because your gift makes room for you. And so what God says, he says, I'm going to open doors that when the door opens, your gift will put you in their place. So the question will be, what do you do with the opportunity once you're in the room? And so we've spent time in the pasture not preparing for the palace. Then when the opportunity comes, that we walk into the palace and we're not even prepared for it. We haven't even thought about it. And so God is trying to do some stuff for us on the backside of the desert right now to get us prepared. and these doors are about to swing open. This is what he said. He says, I'm going to create a set of circumstances to which your gift or your purpose is the only necessary solution. That's in every one of our circles. I'm going to create a set of circumstances to which your gift, your purpose, and your assignment is the only necessary solution. He says, your responsibility is not to fight to get to the front of the line or to disprove the lies that they tell as God promotes you. He said, it ain't your responsibility to fight that. Ain't your responsibility to try to push yourself. He says, a man's gift maketh room for him. You don't have to make room for yourself. He says it's going to make room for you. He says, so you don't have to try to disprove the stuff they say when they see you moving forward. You know, the people who start seeing God promote you and start saying, well, you must be doing this. That's the only way I can see that happening. He said, no, don't even take time trying to disprove what they have to say. He said, the enemy will attempt to distract you by giving you survivor's guilt. And survivor's guilt is simply this. You made it when other people did. And so now you feel guilty in your being elevated when some people are being demoted. So you feel guilty. The enemy will attempt to distract you by giving you survivor's guilt. He will bring people into your space who will try to make you explain why doors are opening for you. And since you won't be able to explain it, they will say that you are acting funny or that you've changed on them. They're going to try to indict your character, indict your friendship. I thought you were a Christian. But just know, this is what he said, that the favor that is about to come on your life cannot be explained, only experienced. And so when they're asking you, why is this happening? I don't know. I have no idea. Why they keep calling your name every time they go, I don't know. Why is it that you ain't been here as long as anybody else, but they call your name for promotion when there was 5 other folks in front of you more qualified? I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm only experiencing it. And he says that when the door swings open, what you did in the pasture is going to shine when you get in the position. He says, so sometimes, what the enemy has lied to some of us and told us is, since it ain't going to never happen, don't prepare. To try to make us fall into a place of unbelief, to think that the things that God showed us, that God said to us, that God proclaimed to us will never happen, and so we don't even prepare. We just learn how to survive where we are, and God says, I'm about to open these doors, and when those doors open, you have to be willing and able to walk in those doors and do exactly what I've called you and told you to do. So now is the time to prepare. And so he says, I'm getting ahead of it because I love you. He says, because I reveal secrets to my friends. And so God is allowing us to get ahead of the move. Now is the time. If you are a preacher, now is the time to buy every book you can buy about how to prepare a sermon, about understanding, studying, investing in your gifts, investing in your talent, investing in your ability, listen to preachers, pray, fast, whatever it takes to sharpen your gifts and allow God to work in you. He said, because once the doors open and you walk in that door, everybody's going to have an expectation, because there's going to be a level of weight on your life that they need what you have. And here's what brings that level of desperation. He says, because I'm going to let it get to the point where it's so bad that they're going to need it. Even if they don't want you there, they're going to need you there. They're going to need you. So if everything we have is about to fall apart, everything is about to tumble down and go down to absolutely nothing, and you are the only person with the ability to come in and move and make things happen. Even though I may not like you and I don't want you here, but I don't have no choice. Because if you don't come in and do what you do, it's going to fall apart for all of us. God says, I'm going to make sure that the circumstance necessitates your ability. He says, in a way that you'll be able to remain focused, don't try to explain it, just experience it. He says, the way you'll be able to overcome what they say is to focus on what he said. To keep that in the front of your face and to know, I didn't do nothing to make it happen. I didn't step on nobody. I didn't go behind the scenes trying to work nothing. I didn't do nothing. All I did was walk by faith straight ahead, and God made it happen. He said, so don't try to explain it. Don't try to explain it. My wife and I were sitting in a restaurant. This was years ago. It had to be maybe 11 years ago, something like that. And we were sitting in a restaurant eating, and we just talking. And I had not too long accepted my call to preach. And we were sitting at this restaurant, and this man was sitting behind us. And the man, we get done eating, he says, I got two things I need to ask you. He said, number one, can I pay for your food? I said, sure. Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can't threaten me with a good time. Yes, you can. And so then he says, let me ask you a question. He says, if I promised you $100 and to come back here in the morning and I will give it to you. He says, if you go tell the whole town that I'm giving away $100 bills and the whole town show up tomorrow, who do I owe the $100 to? I said, me. He said, exactly. And he took my bill and paid for it. My mind was blown. I'm like, okay, what did that mean? And over time, it began to make sense because I had the survivor's guilt syndrome. And so here it is that I'm seeing God do stuff that I didn't even work to make happen. It was just happening. And here's somebody who put in all of this time and effort trying to make it happen, and what happened. And so I'm trying to tell them what I'm seeing, trying to make it happen for them. And the God says, no, if I promise you $100, I don't care who you tell. The only person I owe it to is you. That's it. And so if I call you to a place and a season that I'm going to work in it, you, through you, and for you, he said, it don't matter who you tell that I'm giving away $100 bills, when you show up, it's going to be one check with your name on it. That's all. The doors that God is allowing us to walk through now, they are personalized for us based on where God is taking us. And so here's how you get rid of that survivor's guilt this way. Because God says this, what I'm projecting to the body of Christ, I'm projecting to the entire body. I'm not a respecter of persons. And so therefore, he says, it's time to get serious about your assignment. Time to get serious about your assignment. And if those people get serious about their assignment, he says, I'll do the same thing in their lives that I'm doing in your life, but I'm only going to do it to the level of what they need. So then, there'll be some that'll look at what God is doing in your life and say, I want it on the level you have it. Well, you can't have it on the level I have it. I may not be able to have it on the level you have it. He says, I'm going to give it to you based on what my purpose is. And so therefore, the mindset has to be straight ahead, that I'm focused on God, I'm focused on his purpose in my life, and I'm allowing him to take me. All right? He says, hold your peace. Hold your peace. And that don't mean shut up. Hold means maintain. Maintain your peace. And let the Lord fight your battles. Let him fight, you focus. That's what he said. Let him fight. You focus. Maintain your peace. Because as God begins to unveil this, I preached a sermon some time ago, Paul and Silas at midnight, and the Lord spoke through that sermon and said that this season, that he's going to show you those people that are not with you, not by your opposition, but through your opportunity. Because when the door swings open, Paul and Silas, they look at that same open door and they see freedom. But the jailer looked at that same door and he about to commit suicide. He gonna kill himself. Same door. And so he says this, he says, I'm gonna use opportunity in this season to show you who's on your side, not necessarily opposition. So that means look around when God opens doors, look around and see who really happy for you. It ain't the folks necessarily that's fighting you, because the people that are fighting you, that's just resistance. You need that to grow once anyway. So that's just something that the Lord has assigned to you. You just have to have some detractors. So if you're in a situation where everybody agree with you, you ain't going nowhere worth nothing. Somebody gotta not like what you're doing. It's just the way it is. If they hated Jesus, and he's perfect and sinless enough to want to kill him, and he came to save all of us, then what makes us think everybody gonna agree with us? Some folks ain't gonna like it, period. They ain't gonna like what you do, how you think, what you represent, but that's not your problem. That's not your responsibility. You get your head out of these horizontal situations and look straight up, straight ahead, and walk straight ahead. If you're focusing on that, he says, and I'll protect your feet so you won't stumble. Now, so this is what I want to do. Go to Matthew chapter 13, verse 44. So you don't have to worry about the people, don't have survivor's guilt. That God is opening doors for you and making ways for you, but he didn't do it for this person or that person. God says if they do what I tell them, I do it for them too. Because here's the reality. My wife said this in the car. I said, Lord have mercy. And that is, some people just will not allow themselves to be processed. And so since I don't want to be processed, I'll let you be processed. And when you come into your place of prosperity, I'll hitch my wagon to you. And I get through every door that you go through riding on you. So I'm going to use guilt to make it work. I'm going to tell you that if you don't do this, I don't know how I'm going to make it. You're going to make it the same way you've been making it. Jesus died on the cross for us all, so we don't have to. He died for us, now we live for him. So that means anybody who put their trust in God, he'll take care of them just like he'll take care of you. And the reality is God is calling us to a place of focus on kingdom assignment and stop getting caught up in all of this stuff down here that's just draining our energy. If you think about it, at my job, I have 61 employees, direct employees, 61. 5 frontline supervisors. And I spend most of my time on about 3 or 4 people. It's the 3 or 4 people that don't want to come to work, don't want to do their work when they're at work, that always got something going on. When something come up, it's one of 3 to 4 names that always come up. So I'm having to create policies and do all this processing and do all this extra work for 4 or 5 people. The rest of them do what they're supposed to do. We don't have no issue, we don't have no problem. But here it is that a lot of times I'm tired because I'm spending time dealing with stuff that I shouldn't have to deal with because of what these 4 or 5 people bring to the table. And so in this season, God says, I need you to focus and let me handle all your lightweight, all these problem children, all this stuff you holding on to, trying to fix in your own strength. He said, let that stuff go and focus on what I'm calling you to do because we are in a window of opportunity. And some people are going to flat foot miss it. I'm just telling you. Just going to miss it. Now, this is just, and he says, he that has an ear, let him hear. Some of us are receiving this in our spirit. Some of us are hearing this in our hearts. And some of us is rolling off our backs. Because some of us have assessed in our hearts that I'm not going to do anything different than what I'm doing. And that's not for me to fight. That's between you and the Lord. If you decide that you ain't going to do nothing, no more than what you're doing, you ain't going to change nothing. You want things to be the same way. That's fine. That's what you want to do. But I'm going with Jesus. And I want to see everything that God is going to do in my life on this side. I want to see it all. So look at this. Matthew 13, verse 44. And it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Okay, I'm reading the Living Translation. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in the field. In his excitement, he hid it again and sold everything he owned to get enough money to buy the field. All right, now, the symbolism here is that the person in the text who finds the kingdom was willing to liquidate all of their worldly assets to obtain that one field because he realized that everything that he needs is in this one thing. Everything that he needs is in this one thing. He discovered that the kingdom was one thing that would make everything else work. He discovered it. Right? Now here's the thing about finding this in the field. You don't just discover this because you know what you're looking for. You discover this when you're led by the Lord and he leads you to what he wants you to see. See, we have to understand that most times it's the condition of our hearts that will decide what we see. he that hungers and thirsts after righteousness, he'll be filled. So then, if my intention is to see God's will done in the earth more than anything else that I want, and that's what I want more than anything else, then God begins to order my steps in that direction to get me there because he wants me to want that. And so there's some stuff and here's why the treasure is hidden. Because it's not intended for any and everybody to find it. So that means that God, who searches the heart, can look at your heart and determine that when you find the treasure, you'll do the right thing with the treasure. And so therefore I hide it and then I'll lead you to it. This is what I'm trying to tell you. That there are treasures hidden all around us, stuff that we don't even see. Stuff that's right beneath the surface that we have no idea is there. And God says, I'll lead you to that place and I'll make it happen. Think about this. Everything necessary to fly an airplane existed in the day of Abraham. Lift, velocity, torque, wind power, gravity, everything that you need to fly an airplane, every element, every law was in effect in the day of Abraham. Every bit of it. But it was not until the Wright brothers got the revelation of how to put it together that we got an airplane. Created an industry out of God telling them how to put this element with that element and this element with that element. And now they've gone down in history as the first persons to make and fly an airplane because God told them how to connect the elements. Everything that we need for next level stuff is already here. It's already here. But God, who knows everything, can drop an idea in your heart. See, that's why the man sells everything that he has. He says, because everything I need is in this one thing. And so if I get this one thing, everything else will come with it. So the stuff that I have will never produce the level of what God wants to show me. So why don't I just, since it won't meet my entire need, then it must just be a seed. So he took what he had, sold it to buy the whole field, because in that field is what I need. Here's the idea. That you say, I don't have but $1,500 in my bank account. So I got $1,500. And so I'm just going to save this money. I'm going to take this money, I'm going to hide it in the ground. So I can make sure I don't never lose this $1,500. Well then, the Lord, you begin to follow God, and the Lord tell you, I want you to go over there and buy that plot of land right there. And that plot of land is $14.99. Lord, I ain't got but $1,500. That plot of land is $14.99. I'm gonna have $1 left. I don't even have tax to get another dollar menu if I do this. I ain't got lunch for tomorrow. And what I'm gonna do with this field? And here it is. Somebody said, Lord, I can't trust what you're telling me. I can't do it. And you walk away from it. Here's somebody else come with $1,500. They take that money they got, the Lord said, go over there and buy that field. It's $14.99. Go buy that field. And they said, Lord, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you mean, but I know I heard you say buy this field. So I'm going to go back. And I pray, God, that you got a plan. Since I don't know what you're doing, I ain't worried about that. I trust you. And so they go buy it. 2 weeks later, you find out that there was oil on that land. $50 million worth of oil deposits on that land, and you bought the land for $1,500. Because underneath the surface, there was a treasure that you couldn't see on the top. But the Lord revealed it in your spirit, and even if he didn't tell you everything, he told you enough to get where he needs you to be. See, sometimes we don't move because we want we want everything. Say, Lord, show me how it's going to work, how it's going to end up. That stuff is on a need-to-know basis. All I need from you is to take the first step by faith, and the rest of it will be history. And sometimes we just get stuck right, Lord, that's $14.99. I know that. The main thing is, did you hear God? And if you heard God, go with it. He got something in the plan. And so here's where God is trying to take us right now, because there are some things, God said there's some opportunities beneath the surface that I have waiting on my people. And all I need you to do is just follow me by faith, and I'm going to lead you right to stuff that folk been walking over all the time, overlooking. I'm going to take you right to it. I told y'all this a while ago. Y'all know why the eagle is one of the most powerful birds, the most powerful bird? It's not because he's the biggest. An ostrich is bigger than an eagle. It's not even because he the fastest, because if you look at how fast a hummingbird flies based on his size, he's faster than the eagle. It's his sight, his ability to see. An eagle can be several miles in the air and look down beneath water and see a fish that ain't surfaced and start diving for the fish before anything else ever sees it. So by the time they come up, he already got a beat. He already there. Gets it. He out of there. And here it is. There may be somebody closer to the opportunity, but they didn't see it. And God said, in this season, based on your heart, I'm increasing your vision so you can see what you didn't see at first. And I'm just, and that's why some of the places we look at this stuff and say, Lord, I just don't want to be. You don't know what's right there, right around you that you're missing. And God says, I'm going to open your eyes that you may see. I'm telling you, there is, we in it right now. It's his ability to look and to see in detail stuff beneath the surface. So here's the thing. God says, I'm bringing some stuff alive in your heart. I'm bringing some stuff alive in your spirit. And he says, and the reality is, as you begin to walk, I'm going to just draw you to where you need to be. But here's the problem. If you can't follow the voice of the Lord, if you can't hear God and obey, if you can't trust God and take a chance on the fact that God said do it, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. Because if you think about it, when the eagle starts diving, you don't see that yet. It look crazy. What are you doing? But I can see what you can't see. And so I'm positioning myself because I can see what you can't see. And by the time it surfaces, now you're trying to jump on it, but it's too late. I'm already there. I already got to jump on it. So look at this. He says, that the kingdom of heaven is like this treasure that's been hidden. It's like going in to take the biggest, most important test of your life. And in your spirit, you got the answer key. Were y'all there when, I think it was at the convocation, Bishop, I can't remember his name, Bishop from Flint, Michigan. I think from Flint. But he was talking about how when he was young, he couldn't read. Bishop Philip Jackson, couldn't read. And he said the reason he couldn't read, and it was really a sad story, was because his skin was losing its color. And so his mama would take this oil-based mascara stuff and put it all over his face to make his face look the same as everybody else. Well, the problem was, he a little kid, and when he sweat, it would run in his eyes and burn his eyes, so he'd wipe it, and now he got it on his hand, and he put it on the books. They tell her to stop putting it all over him, but she keep doing it because she don't want him to be looking like that. So she put it on him, trying to make him look normal, and eventually, when she wouldn't stop putting the stuff on him, the teacher would make him go outside and sit outside the door when they start reading so he wouldn't get mascara on all their books. And he said he would sit outside the door and hear them in there reading, trying to listen to what they say, but couldn't go in. Heartbreaking. So he grew up without being able to read. So then he goes, gets a job at Ford Motor Company in Detroit. Somebody opened the door for him to get a job at Ford Motor Company, but he's sweeping floors, emptying trash cans. He said, but the floors I swept, they didn't look like nobody else's floors. They were swept. I swept my floors like I was sweeping for the Lord. Nobody cleaned the toilet like I cleaned one. Nobody left an area. When I was there, I left my mark on that place. That's kingdom mentality stuff. As unto the Lord. I'm going to go to work, and you're going to know I've been there because I represent him. He said that the supervisor came to him and said, I want to put your name in for a promotion. He said, no, I can't do it. He said, because I didn't want the man to know I couldn't read. He said, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. He said, are you sure? He said, yeah, I'm sure I want to do it. He said, so he walked away. He said, I'm putting my trash in the trash can, jumped in the trash can, bashed it down. He said, and I heard the Lord say to me, I'm the one who ordered your steps and I give opportunities. So how do you turn down something that I ordained? He said, I jumped out the trash can, ran down the hall, called him and said, I do it. Put my name in the hat, I do it. He said, so then what I did? He said, I went to church that night. Lord have mercy. And he said, I told the saints, I need y'all to pray for me. He said, because I got a big test that I got to take. He said they had trigonometry, calculus on this test. He can't read to be the supervisor. And he said, I need some help. I need y'all to pray for me. And he said that there was some folk up there talking about, I do a testimony service, talking about I got an unspoken request. He said, no, I need everybody to know what I need. He said, because this request I need, you talking about an unspoken request. I need God to move heaven and earth. So I'm going to tell everybody, this is what I need. I need everybody to be praying for what I need. And he said, here's what happened. He said, the pastor wasn't in there. He said, the mothers came around him. He said, they put oil all over me. My brand new shirt, they had oil all over me. He said, they rubbed me down like a Christmas ham with this oil. He said, they were praying. Lord, do it. Open his eyes, open his mind, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Bring all things to his remembrance. And he said, and they put the whole church on a fast until I took the test. He said, I had to take the test the next Friday. He said, they put the church on a fast that whole week. He said, I walked in there to the test, sat down, multiple choice test, got the little bubbles on there, give me some scratch. He said, I couldn't even read the words on the test. He said, all I could do was write my name. That's all I learned, how to write my name. He said, I wrote my name on that test, couldn't read nobody know the answer because I couldn't read the questions. This is what he said. And he said, he sat there, and time just passed. It was a time test. Time just passed. He can't read, so he ain't writing nothing. He said, I got a revelation. Why don't I just love on God while I'm here? And if I love on him, I believe he'll talk to me. And so he started telling God, Lord, you wonderful, you mighty, you amazing. You the God that I know. You didn't bring me this far to leave me. Your name is great and your power is perfect. And your truth endures to all generations. He just started talking to the Lord. And he said, deep down in his spirit, he heard A, B, D, E, F, G, B, C, D. He said, and I went down the paper, just write it in. He said, I got to the end of the test and the time expired. He said, all right, here it is. He said, I went there and I turned my test in. And he said, I walked out the room. He said, if the Lord didn't do it, it won't be done. So he went back to church, and the saints asked him, how did you do? He said, I did fine. He said, the Lord came through. I did just fine. He said, I ain't know what was on there. I ain't know what was on there because I couldn't read it. He said, I did just fine. He said, the church went up in a praise, thanking God for what he had done. So I got up, he said, I went to work. And he said the test scores came in, and he said they called me to their office, supervisor's office. He said, I thought they was going to fire me because I was dumber than what they thought. He said, and I walked in the door, and the man sat me down and looked at me. He said, Mr. Jackson? He said, yes, sir. He said, before he said, I just want you to know that I appreciate the opportunity for working here. I appreciate everything y'all done for me. Y'all been good to me. And I just appreciate it. He said, no, yeah, we appreciate you. He said, okay. He said, because you made 100% on the test. You didn't miss one. And he said, Lord, he said, all I needed was a little room. He said, I didn't want to be unorthodox. And then he said that before he took the test, he put some oil on that test, some of that same oil the mothers gave me. He put $1 on his test. This is the oil of the Lord on his test. And he said, and they said he made 100%. And he said because he made 100%, it put him in another class of managers. That means every 6 months they promoted you every 6 months. And so within 5 years, he went from where he was to a vice president over a whole area. And he said, and if you do a DNA sample on every contract they ever signed, you see $1 oil on it. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. That what God is doing this season, he said, you walk up to the test and I'll put in your spirit A, B, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And you look at it like, Lord, how in the world did I do this? Look, I'm working in you and through you. I just need you to trust me and I'm going to make it come to pass in your life. He was able to open doors for other people to come into the company and couldn't read. Couldn't read a lick. Learn how to read at Ford Motor Company. That's where he learned how to read. sit up there and sing songs. The Lord would give him songs to sing. And he'd sing these songs in church and didn't even know what it was singing scripture, word for word. Couldn't read. But the Holy Ghost was giving it to him, and he's singing scripture and didn't know it. I'm trying to tell you what he'll do on the inside. And see, and the crazy part about it is some of us have a hard time believing it because we have minimized God to our level of understanding. And God says the reason I can't do some stuff because according to your faith being under you, you don't believe me to be big enough to do some of the stuff you need to do. And so you're asking somebody else to pray because you don't believe. I'm just trying to help us. And so what God says, he says, I'm going to work in you and through you to bring it to pass. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can. Turn over to Matthew 6:33. Some of y'all can probably quote it. Oh, yeah. Matthew 6:33. This is the year of divine order. And so as a result, yes, sir. This is the order of the kingdom. This is what the Lord said to me as to what we have to do because the enemy has a plan to try to stop this. And so God said, we're going to get ahead of this. Look what he says. But seek ye first, priority, the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So then, as kingdom people, we don't focus on obtaining things. We seek the kingdom first, and all the things that we need will be added to us. They'll come to us. It comes with it. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow to it. No sorrow with it. And when we talk about the kingdom of God, it is God's system of priorities and laws that ultimately lead to his perfect will being done. Say it again. This is the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is God's system of priorities and laws that ultimately lead to his perfect will being done. And so he says, seek ye first God's priorities, God's laws, and what will lead to his will being done, and his righteousness. Our righteousness is as filthy rags. He says, so don't use your system of how you grade, because we grade on the curve. We grade on the curve. We get connected to somebody who made a 60, but they made the lowest score, the highest score in the class as a 60, so that 60 become the A. You made a 59, and so now you said, I'm all right in comparison to them, but actually everybody failed. We can't grade on the curve. We have to seek his kingdom and his righteousness. He is the standard. I love Paul and Peter, but Jesus is my standard, not Paul. Jesus is my standard, not Peter. Jesus is the only blameless man that ever walked the earth. And so therefore, he is the one that I'm looking to. He says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and his right, the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So seeking the kingdom first is, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's what seeking the kingdom first means. It means, God, whatever you're doing in heaven, establish that down here where I am. So however, there is no lack in heaven. There is no sickness in heaven. And so when I look at heaven, God, however you do things in heaven, let that be established here. And we do know this, ain't no democracy in heaven. Ain't no democracy in heaven. Ain't no voting in heaven. There's a king, and the king decrees a thing, and it's established. That's what the Bible says. So that means when God speaks, that settles it. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. And he watches over his word to perform it. And he says, I place my word above my name. I think it's Psalm 98:2. I've established my word above my name. Which means that when God speaks something, he got to stick with what he said or he would be a liar. And he can't lie, he can't fail, and he can't change. So he can't lie. So when he speaks it, it's established. Even if right now he says, I wish that none should perish, but all come to repentance. But because he said those that don't accept him go to hell, as much as no want nobody to go to hell, it's established. He can't change it because he said it. And so if God has enslaved himself to his own word, how can we not trust the stuff he says? If he handcuffed himself to what he said, then what makes us think he gonna lie to us? And sometimes we don't say he lied to us, but in the way we respond, that's how we act. My God shall supply all of your needs, but then we don't believe it. Is he a liar? He says that with his stripes we are healed. Is he lying to us? Whatever he says, it is yea and amen. And we have to believe it at face value until he says something else. So look at this. I'm rushing. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That means in every situation as we approach it, our first question has to be literally, what would Jesus do? How do you want this handled? When I go out this morning, God, to go and face my day, Lord, what do you want me to do? And see, here's one place where we miss it. I may not finish, so I want to, but I may not. We miss it. You think about how many of y'all know we at war? That the enemy is fighting us every day. Here's sometimes how we lose. What army do you know wait till folks start shooting at them to get a plan? Wait till folks bombs start dropping all around them before they get a plan of how they're going to attack. But think about how we do when we leave home and go out into the world and ain't talk to headquarters to find out what we need to do that day. We ain't got no plan. We ain't checked in with headquarters. We don't know what they want to do. We ain't spent no time with him up front. And so now we go out into a world blindsided by everything. But if we would just get up that morning before we stepped out of bed and said, Lord, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What would you have me do? Lord, don't allow me to miss opportunities that you want for me today. Don't allow me to miss opportunities to witness. If there's somebody who needs to hear a word about who you are, whatever it is, God, lead me to that person. And you'll find this. Your eyes will come open. And you'll be walking, and it'll almost be like your radar just picking stuff up around you. Something wrong with, something ain't right with her. Something ain't right with him. I remember I was in Illinois, and there was this lady that was the happiest lady in the whole office. She walked around just excited every day, just laughing. It almost was annoying because she was happy all the time for nothing. And so she walked past me one day. And the Lord had to me, he got a sense of humor. And the Lord said she hated her job. She hated her job. Ain't no way she hated her job. As happy as this woman is all the time, ain't no way she hated her job. And so, and here all this was the Lord was training me. He was training me to hear his voice and know when it was him talking. And I'm thinking to myself, now that was a crazy thought. Ain't no way in the world I would have figured that. She hated her job. And so I was thinking about it, and I started laughing. And I'm doing it as a joke. So she came by the next time I said, you hate your job, don't you? She stopped in her tracks. And her whole countenance just changed. I said, Lord have mercy. She said something. She said, I laughed to keep from crying. And started explaining how she wanted to retire, but she couldn't. Because her husband had an issue that only this insurance would pay for. She hated her job. And she was doing this every day to try to keep this positive mentality and had contemplated suicide several times. And I'm sitting there like, Lord have mercy. And now that the door was open, my gift made room for me. Now guess what I gotta do? I gotta minister to the need of this woman. And she said, I just want to know how you knew. I said, the Lord told me. They just wiped her totally out. I said, that means that he's mindful of you, that even when you ain't spoken, that he sees and he'll tell people that can give you a word from the Lord. He's mindful of you and he'll lead you the way you need to be. And even after I left that job, I still was praying for it. From time to time, just going, okay, you pray for my husband. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. It's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. To this day, to this very day. But it was something that the Lord showed me that had I missed the opportunity or had I overlooked it, I would have missed her. We all got to have a battle strategy every morning. Because guess what? God knows what the enemy is going to try before you leave. He knows already. And sometimes the enemy knows we ain't talked to God. He knows we ain't in connection with heaven, because you know what prayer does? Prayer is not designed to get God to come over here where I am. Prayer is designed to get me where God is. Prayer is not designed to make God come do what I need done. Prayer is designed to align me with the will And so when I'm praying in the morning, I'm not praying for God to do nothing out to make something happen. Lord, I need you to align me with what you're doing today so that I can be in the flow of what you're doing. I want to be used by you today. All right, now look at this. All right, got a couple minutes. So we have to seek the kingdom first and his righteousness, but Satan has always tried to trick mankind, this is heavy to me, into bypassing the kingdom to seek stuff first. And that's because he knows that real provision is connected to purpose. We're going to make it plain. Satan knows that provision is connected to purpose. Position and provision are connected to purpose. So my question is this. So for somebody who say, in our context, I hear it all the time, they want to be a bishop. First of all, I think there's too much money to pay. That's one. Number two, I think there's too many problems they have to deal with every day. And so therefore, if God don't do that, I'm not going. He can push me on this. He can put me on the cross, but I ain't gonna get up there. You gotta have a calling in your heart to do that. I'm not doing that. No, Lord, no. Because my face ain't always where it's supposed to be all the time. And I don't want to be sitting up there with all these folks looking at me and something happens and my face tell everything. I don't got time for that. It's safety in the back. I'm telling you. These folks fight to get up on that stage. Okay. Go right on up there. That all the time, clank, lock them side gates, you ain't going nowhere. You sit up here all the time. Now here we go. Ooh, Lord. And when you get through your whole heart, now toe out. But you want to sit up there, Lord, no. I ain't going, Lord. You got to send me, because I'm not going unless you send me. But think about it. Why would somebody want to be a bishop unless God has called you to pastor pastors? Unless God has called you to establish something in them that advances the kingdom, why you want to be that? And so you got folks who want to go up there and just sit up there and look pretty and pious and all of that stuff. And I'm like, look, man, I don't have that kind of time. And some stuff is hard to pretend on your face. It's hard to do it. And so unless God has called you, your assignment is connected to that. Why you want to be there? Why would you want to be there at all? Okay, now think about this. So provision and position are connected to purpose in this dispensation, which means God says, I'm going to elevate you and provide for you based on what your purpose is. But if you're not going to do your purpose, guess what you don't need? You don't need the provision. You don't need the influence. You don't need the platform. You don't need the position. So guess what you do? You stay right here with your purpose self, and I'll do something, use somebody else to do what you should have done. Kingdom assets are connected to kingdom assignments. And so Satan is always trying to get us to go after things first, because if we get the thing outside of God's divine order, we ultimately forfeit the assignment that goes with it. This is the Bible, and we're gonna close with this. The Bible, Matthew 4, 8 through 9. So this is why Satan wants to turn up the pressure on us and the heat on us to make us be going after stuff. It's people right now that you could be in the season of your life in this church where the Lord is doing something in your heart and tuning your dial to a degree that your life will never be the same, and they'll leave and move all the way across the world somewhere for 50 cents more an hour. And your whole life is being changed. The Lord has been, my wife will tell you, we were in Little Rock, and when I first was introduced to Kingdom, I got a job offer, and the people wanted me to take the job so bad that at the same time they asked me who my wife, I told her what she did. I want both of y'all. They will hire both of us and move us to Kansas City. We talked about it, and I said, no, we can't do it. Because we're in a season now that God is doing something in our lives that I can't move. Because I feel God connecting my life to, I'm starting to see the Bible in 3D, and I ain't going nowhere because this is going to carry me the rest of my life. So if I stay right here and get this, I do 1,000 times more than whatever that was. So look at this. Chapter 4, 8 through 9. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him, look at this, all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them. And said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou fall down and worship me. Now look at the underlying attempt of Satan here. Satan tells Jesus, I give you all the kingdoms of the world if you bow to me, and you won't even have to go to Calvary to get them. I give you all the kingdoms of the world, and you won't have to go through thorns being pressed on your head. You can bypass all the pain of your process and go straight to provision. That's what he said to him. But Calvary was Jesus' purpose. And if Jesus had not gone to Calvary, humanity would be lost. And so Satan was trying to give it to him on the front end so that he can keep all of us bound to hell forever. And if he had gone for the stuff, we all still be lost. And Satan knew that if Jesus accomplished his assignment on earth, that the kingdom was already his anyway. Yes, sir. But he was banking on him not knowing who he was. So bowing to Satan would have meant that Jesus was switching places with Satan by acknowledging Satan as his Lord in exchange for the kingdoms of this world. Which means Satan would have been Jesus' master. If he would bow, Satan would have been Jesus' master. So I'm going to give you all of this stuff. But now, I'm going to be your master. And look what Jesus says in verse 10. Then said Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, get out of here. For it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Now look at the implication. He's talking about kingdoms of the world, but Jesus talking about him only shall you serve. God only shall you serve. And here's why. Because when Satan is the one who gives it to you, you become his servant. Look at the world today. All these folk who have got all this stuff outside of the realm of the Holy Ghost, out of the realm of God, Satan is their master. And if you walk out there, prove it to you. You are locked into that system. And if you walk away, everything you have going to crumble and fall and be destroyed. Because when Satan gives it to you, he controls you. He was trying to control the Savior of the whole world. And Jesus said, no. You're going to worship the Lord thy God, and him only shall thou serve. Whatever God's given me, that's what I want. Whatever Satan got, I want it. If I got to go to Satan to get anything, I don't need it. I don't want it. I want no part of what he's trying to do, because once I focus on the assignment that God has, the purpose that God has brought in my life, he is going to add everything. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all things shall be added. And so here's what the Lord said to me. He said, tell the people to get serious about your assignment. Whatever it is. I don't care if God called you to be an accountant. That means he must be calling you to do something in the kingdom that's going to keep all of these church folks from going to prison because their numbers ain't right. That must mean that the Lord, if your thing is to administrate, that must mean God wants you to bring order to some stuff, and you need to do whatever you need to do to get prepared for whatever that is. If you got to take some Excel classes, if you got to get some PowerPoint classes, whatever it is, do what you got to do. Because we think this. We think that the only apostolic anointing is in a preacher. That's what we think. But the Bible has a concept that talks about kings and priests. And the king and priest, David had Nathan. And so therefore, the king was the one who did the exploits in the world, in the marketplace, but it was the priest who went to God to ask the questions, come back to the king and say, all right, God said you can do it. There was a partnership between the two. And so sometimes it's folks who right now who sit in church who think that their calling in life is not valid because you're not called to a pulpit. Your pulpit may be a classroom. Your pulpit may be a television studio where you put the right stuff out over the airways so people's lives can change. And we're looking at your calling may be on a football field. field and running the ball. Now you got all of these kids that's looking to you, and when they say, how did you get here? Let me tell you about a man named Jesus. He was the one who brought me here. And so we can't minimize that the only people who God is concerned about is just preachers. No, whatever he's called you to, get serious about your assignment. We about to see some doors swing open. We about to find some treasure buried. We about to find some spiritual oil in the ground, maybe some physical oil in the ground. And if you find physical oil in the ground, remember me when I come into thy kingdom. Don't forget. Don't forget, I was born too. I'll do it for you. Amen. All right. So, let's get something in our hand to give. Let's get something in our hand to give tonight. He said he's gonna give us the keys. He's gonna give us the keys of the kingdom. And those keys, they're principles. They're principles. He said they're kingdom principles that I'm gonna reveal to you that's gonna show you how to work it. Your job, your career, I'll show you what to put on your resume. I'm telling you, we got to stop thinking God's so high that he can't. The Lord will help you match your clothes up if you ask him. He'll do it. He'll do it. Because I heard some folks saying it and they ain't want to tell the truth. The Lord told me to put this on. No, he didn't. Which Lord? Which Lord told you that? Because he's not the author of confusion, and that's confusion. Amen. All right. Let's get something in our hand to give tonight. We're going to sow into the kingdom tonight. Let's see. And all our people on Facebook Live, we thank you for joining in with us. Please click the link there if you want to sow into kingdom work. And we'll be glad to accept your gifts, and you'll be blessed just the same as those in the sanctuary. Say amen for our Facebook Live. Amen. All right, some quick announcements. So we know this Saturday we'll be back at 11 a.m. This Saturday, the 17th. Make sure I got my days right. At 11 o'clock.